Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. SummerSlam is in the air. You can feel it. The buzz is real. I'm not really 100% sure if this has the feel of a WrestleMania or if it's just SummerSlam with just an extra hour and it's being held in New York City. Well, actually, it's being held in Brooklyn. But the buzz is getting real. Honestly, when it comes down to The Rock making an appearance in WWE, anytime that The Rock shows up, I know that they keep him on the active roster page on WWE.com. It is a real big deal. I mean, he is the part-timers of part-timers. The Rock only really shows up when there's a real big something going on. Last time we saw him was WrestleMania 31. You have to give him all the respect in the world for showing up to that Monday Night Raw last year that was in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center as well, coming out and surprising Rusev and Lana. And actually getting to the point where we didn't get to see a rock bottom, but getting as physical as he can get without actually wrestling a real wrestling match. These days, The Rock has a lot of things on his plan. You know that his show is on HBO, Ballers. It's doing really well. I hear a lot of positive things. Honestly, I have not watched an episode yet. I'm sure it's going to be something like Entourage, where I just sit down and I just bust out a whole season in one day and really feel that like I really didn't do anything at all that day. And it's going to be a good feeling. I think that's how I'm pretty much going to end up watching that show. News just came out the other day about The Rock and Zac Efron are going to be starring in a movie. It's going to be a relaunch of Baywatch. The Rock's always got something going on. But the one thing that you cannot take away from The Rock, and it's something that I did not give him and I did not, give him enough respect for, is that The Rock loves wrestling. I think The Rock really honestly knows that he would not be in the place that he would be today if it wasn't for wrestling. Everybody's seen the documentary. Everybody's seen the stories about The Rock, growing up in Hawaii. If you watch the WWE Network on the live feed a lot, they love to put the splice in there about The Rock, talking about, living with his mom in Hawaii and coming home, and there was an eviction notice and there was a lock on the door and they couldn't get in there, and his mom was crying, and The Rock basically said, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that this never happens again. I don't think The Rock easily could have just gone right into being a movie star. He needed the things in his life to happen for him. He had to start playing football for Miami. He had to go, go to the CFL for those years, basically, living in a hotel room with 6 guys and, just barely struggling. I think that's where he gets the humility that he has in his life. If you're a fan of The Rock, if you follow him on Twitter, if you follow his Instagram, and he's always got these stories about stopping for fans and knowing that without those fans, he would not be where he is today. Him starting to learn how to wrestle, Pat Patterson taking him under his wing and making sure that he was signed in WWE, and then just going as far as he could in WWE before leaving wrestling and, busting his ass in Hollywood, become easily one of the biggest stars, one of the biggest people in movies that there is going today. This guy makes money when movies come out because people know that they're going to be good. One of the big movies that I was really hyped for this summer was San Andreas. I didn't get a chance to go see it, but I am awaiting the day that I do get to see it because I know that's going to be a good movie. Basically, you can't knock The Rock for not giving back to wrestling. I know that Vince more than likely, bends over backwards and gives this guy a good-looking check for showing up to work when he does, but easily, when you look at what happened at WrestleMania 31 with The Rock hosting, Saturday Night Live, jumping on a jet, flying cross-country, and showing up to WrestleMania 31 the early morning of Sunday, and doing what needed to be done on the show with Ronda Rousey. I don't know what The Rock's schedule is for the night that SummerSlam is or the night before, but I don't care if this guy's in Tokyo, Japan the night before. if he wants to be at SummerSlam, he's going to be at SummerSlam, and that's what it comes down to. Lots of big talk about The Rock being one of the major players for WrestleMania 32, playing off of the Ronda Rousey appearance. I know that Dana White has said that what Ronda Rousey did at WrestleMania 31 was a one-night thing, and she will not be doing it again because as of right now, she is a contracted wrestler for, I believe, 2 more fights in UFC, and that contract isn't going to be ending before WrestleMania 32, so Dana might be the deciding factor if Rousey is a part of WrestleMania 32 or not. But you know, The Rock has been building up a storyline with Triple H on SmackDown and on Monday Night Raw for well over a year now over who the bigger superstar is. Lots of people thought that maybe this would play into a Vince McMahon versus Triple H, who's in charge angle. Sometimes it looks like they're just going to go out there and fight to fight because they're big-time rivals. You know, if you think about the Attitude Era, the biggest stars that were out there were The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Triple H. We don't know if we're going to be getting The Undertaker. Stone Cold Steve Austin has already said he's not going to be able to do it. And that leaves Rock and Triple H as, you know, the, what was that match called? The End of an Era. You'll never see guys from the Attitude Era go at it again one-on-one. Well, when they did WrestleMania 28, Cena versus The Rock, it was supposed to be once in a lifetime, and we got that the next year at WrestleMania 29. But as of right now, where all the rumors are starting from is basically Roman Reigns was doing a podcast today, and on that podcast, he was asked whether if The Rock would be appearing at SummerSlam in order to you know, sort of hype the show and make it have that WrestleMania feel. Roman Reigns basically tipped the bag a little bit. Instead of just saying that he wasn't planning to be there, he said, "I really want to tell you the answer, but then it wouldn't be a surprise." I don't know if somebody would say that if he wasn't going to be there, because that brings a little element of, you know, anticipation that he is going to be there. And then at the end of the show, if he doesn't show up, that's a big major letdown. Some people might think that it was a bad show because they thought The Rock was going to be there. Like I said, this guy's one of the biggest movie stars of all time. You know, he's got a schedule, and when it comes to making movies, they cost a lot of money. And if The Rock's not there, lots of people don't get to work that day. So I understand if he's not there, but as of right now, I got a pretty good feeling that The Rock's going to be there. You know, Triple H, Vince really trying to make SummerSlam weekend into WrestleMania weekend, moving it to New Jersey. Moving it to Brooklyn in New York, putting it in the Barclays Center, having the NXT show there the night before. I don't know, man. I'm excited. You know, SummerSlam was in LA for a long time, and it had a really great feel to it. But as of right now, I've got mixed feelings about it. Like, sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, man, this is going to be a good show. This is going to be a really good show. And then sometimes I look at it, and I'm like, if it wasn't for Cena and Rollins, which is a match that I sort of don't really care about all that much, and it wasn't for Taker versus Lesnar, I don't know what it would be like. You know, it doesn't really have... It's got WrestleMania feel because everything that's going on that weekend with Warrior Day, with the softball game, with NXT, it makes it have a really big feel of everything that is going on. But it doesn't really feel like WrestleMania. I mean, when you looked at WrestleMania 31, there was lots of people who didn't go this year because they looked at the card that was out there and said that the show didn't look that good. And then once it was done, it was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. So sometimes they just surprise you, and it is what it is. But The Rock showing up, I think, is a big one. And I think it could really give WWE a kick in the pants. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you this morning. The buzz is in the air, man. Wrestling was pretty freaking sweet last night. We watched the G1 final. I made a video hyping it up yesterday, trying to get everybody to sign up for New Japan World. Of course, with New Japan World, you can always sign up and watch it in the on-demand section. You can watch the whole G1 if you wanted to. What a great match that was, and what a few other matches were. It was fun to see the Young Bucks match. It was fun to see the Bullet Club with Guns and Gallows and AJ Styles teaming up. You know, it was a pretty fun night of wrestling. I woke up this morning. You know, normally I have a little bit of a New Japan hangover, and I had it this morning. I had to listen to the Wrestling Observer Radio twice because I fell asleep both times. This guy's talking about The Rock, and I'm falling asleep. but he's talking about The Rock showing up at SummerSlam. I've already made one video talking about The Rock making an appearance at SummerSlam 2015 when Roman Reigns was on the radio show and basically was asked, hey, is Rock going to be there in New York in the Barclays Center as a part of SummerSlam, making it be that WrestleMania feel. And Roman Reigns said, I would love to tell you, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. And to me, honestly, that tipped the hat a little bit of WWE saying that The Rock was going to be there. The Rock, of course, not on the official real WWE roster. I don't think that The Rock carries a contract, but hell, he's got to carry some sort of a deal because they're always selling his merchandise. This guy isn't a guy that's on Raw or SmackDown all that much. He just shows up for the big shows. I mean, I think we saw him at WrestleMania last year. Before that, we saw him at the Barclay Monday Night Raw with Rusev. Before that, would have to be, we hadn't seen him since WrestleMania 30. Before that was WrestleMania 29. So, I mean, like, if I can sit here and name off the shows that The Rock appeared at, he's not at that many of them. I would love if Stone Cold Steve Austin would show his face every once in a while. I don't think we've seen him on a show since WrestleMania 30, and before that, I don't think we've seen him before since WrestleMania 27. So, he makes very, very few appearances, few and far between, I guess you can say. But as of right now, if I had to bet money if The Rock was going to be at SummerSlam, I would have to easily bet that The Rock is going to be there. What's he going to do once he gets there? Hell, I don't know. The rumors going even as far as Ronda Rousey making an appearance and showing her face and being a part of WWE, hyping up this I don't know if it's a mixed tag, if it's going to be Triple H and Stephanie going up against Ronda and The Rock, or if it's going to be The Rock versus Triple H with the girls in the corner, or there's even been a rumor that it's going to be Stephanie versus Ronda, and Rock and Triple H are going to be in their corners. So, I mean, this could go 1,000 different directions. But honestly, the rumor is so strong right now. Like I said, I think it'd honestly be a little bit of a letdown if Rock wasn't there. Just the buzz that's in the atmosphere is really, really strong. If The Rock's not there, I don't think you can really put blame on anybody. The Rock's a busy man. He's got his HBO show Ballers. They just announced that he's going to be making a movie with Zac Efron. They'll be relaunching Baywatch as a movie. I'm not sure if it's going to be serious or if it's going to be like a goofy comedy. Maybe Pamela Anderson and David Hasselhoff will make an appearance in there or something like that. But we'll have to see what goes down with that. But I mostly care about the wrestling. I have seen a lot of The Rock's movies, but it's like I don't really rush out to the theaters to see him. I think the first movie that I was really pumped to see of his was probably San Andreas, and I didn't even make it out to the movie theaters to see it. I gotta wait and pick it up on DVD. Well, I guess I'm gonna need to buy it on DVD. I'll just pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out, I guess you can say now these days. But I'm pumped for SummerSlam. We got the big NXT show, which is gonna be going down Saturday night. SummerSlam on Sunday. And then right after that, we're going to be going right into Monday Night Raw. And so, the New York area with Brooklyn, with Barclay, they're going to be getting the best of the world. And I mean, if Rock's making an appearance and he's pushing the limits with SummerSlam, you might as well think that he might even be there for that Monday Night Raw show, which makes that a must-see. If you're in the area, make sure your butt's going to be there. We saw last time The Rock made an appearance with the Barclay Monday Night Raw when he did the deal with Rusev, that they taped a segment at Raw, and they ended up putting it on SmackDown. Those sneaky little devils being able to get The Rock on SmackDown. But, they could do something like that. Make sure that they take advantage of all the situations they have with The Rock. If The Rock wants to make money at WrestleMania 32, he's going to do whatever they need him to do in order to pack that stadium out. Because when I think of The Rock, and I think of how The Rock talks about wrestling on his Twitter account, I know that he loves it. I honestly know that he loves it, or he wouldn't have made that surprise appearance at the Barclays Center. He wouldn't have flown across the country to be at WrestleMania this year. I know that he loves wrestling, but when The Rock talks about wrestling on his Twitter account, it's about breaking records. It's about pushing what he did last time and making it bigger. And he needs to make sure that, they're going to sell out Dallas. And it's really going to be this 100,000 people crowd that he can say. But I mean, honestly, if WWE gets WrestleMania up to 90,000 people, that's going to be a huge deal for them, because we've seen 70, I think we've seen 80, but we've never got 90. So, I mean, definitely 100,000 people traveling to Dallas just for WrestleMania is a huge number. And we'll have to see what goes down with this in the foreseeable future. But, Wrestling Observer, this is where this video started from. Alvarez and Meltzer were both talking about The Rock making an appearance. So the buzz really is in the air. It's more than just Roman Reigns answering a question on a radio show now. When you look at how big SummerSlam has grown, basically, over a year, from what it was at the Staples Center to what it is at the Barclays Center this year, the one thing in WWE that puts it over the top is The Rock. I mean, this guy is the most famous guy in the world as of right now. He's making the best action movies in the world. Every once in a while, he graces with his appearance, whether if it's at WrestleMania or a random house show like what he did in Boston, or a Monday Night Raw like he did in Barclays about a year ago or so. I can't remember when the Rusev thing happened, but there was talk about basically maybe thinking of getting Rusev against The Rock at WrestleMania 31. How dumb were we? But, one thing or another, I think The Rock is going to be a part of SummerSlam 2015. There's a lot of rumors going around out there about The Rock being there. He won't answer the question straight out, but a lot of it is based off of the Roman Reigns interview, where I think that basically he would have got screamed at by Vince McMahon for putting this kind of attention on SummerSlam if it's for the wrong reasons, if The Rock isn't going to be there. Normally, Vince doesn't like to, inch towards something that's not, possible of happening. Maybe it's out there that maybe The Rock, is putting feelers out there. Maybe Vince is trying to put feelers out there for The Rock as well. But if you think about, the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, which is a rowdy crowd like Brooklyn is, it didn't really go that well for The Rock. So I honestly was really surprised that he would show up at WrestleMania 31. I know that the boos were more for Roman than it was for The Rock. And at WrestleMania 31, of course, he was going to be out there with Triple H and Stephanie and Ronda Rousey. So, it's easy babyface material there for you. But you could tell that The Rock was pretty upset, and he basically took the rest of the night off when he did the WWE Network exclusive backstage segment with Roman Reigns talking about winning the thing. You could definitely tell that he was in joke mode. He really wasn't caring about what was going on. He was making jokes with the cameraman. He was making jokes with the fans that somehow walked onto the set where they were shooting this backstage deal. Basically, even Roman Reigns, nobody cared about what was going on. They knew that the night was a joke. Roman won. He was booed out of the building, and they got where they wanted to, with Roman becoming the #1 contender at WrestleMania 31. But it didn't really get over what they were trying to push down their throats. But I know that a lot of people are thinking that The Rock is going to be a part of WrestleMania 32. When they had the Rock do the Monday Night Raw thing with Rusev and he showed up, they thought they shot a backstage segment between him and Triple H, with them sort of challenging each other without challenging each other, talking about, the next time that they fought, if it was going to happen, was going to be in front of a big, huge stadium that was going to have 100,000 people in it. Wink, wink. Talking about Dallas Stadium. We're talking about AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, WrestleMania 32. I think that, honestly, you can look at them putting the building blocks of this together. WrestleMania 31 was them putting the first block down, with Rock showing up, Ronda Rousey being in the front row, basically Ronda attacking Stephanie after Stephanie had slapped The Rock in the face. Triple H just standing there like a goof, not knowing what to do. Here we are putting the second douse of fire onto this match. Out of the middle of nowhere, Seth Rollins is champion. He's back in the good graces of the Authority. Triple H and Stephanie, they've never really dumped Seth Rollins publicly, but they haven't really been together on television in a while. I don't know if that's because Seth Rollins has been able to stand on his own, and if he's able to get hated, they don't need Stephanie and Triple H there to rub it in a little bit more. But basically over the last few weeks, Triple H and Stephanie have been coming out with Rollins. On Monday Night Raw this week, they came out there and they basically portrayed him as one of the greatest champions of all time. They told Rollins that if he won his match against John Cena at WWE Survivor Series and became the double champion holding both belts, they would get a WWE golden statue for the WWE headquarters in Stamford of Seth Rollins, basically like they have the Ultimate Warrior, like they have of Bruno Sammartino, like they have of Andre the Giant. They would build one of these deals. But I think that honestly what the plan is as of right now is for Stephanie and for Triple H to get involved in the Cena versus Rollins match. At that point, The Rock would emerge. He is coming out to break up what Triple H's plan is. From there, maybe the match gets thrown out. Everybody's going so crazy they don't even realize they didn't get a finish to this match. Basically, Triple H is going to be furious that he wasn't able to pull one off and Rollins to get the victory, even though at the end of the day, Rollins would keep the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which should have been his plan in the long run, but he wouldn't get the win of the factor. And then you build towards Triple H versus The Rock at WrestleMania 32. I know that there's talks of Ronda Rousey being involved in this somehow, and some people think that Ronda Rousey will be involved in the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, which is in Los Angeles, where she sets up her home base, and she's at a lot of the PWG as well as WWE shows that are shown there when she's not in training. And that will be the next brick that adds towards WrestleMania 32. But I think The Rock's going to be there. I think The Rock's going to be involved in this World Heavyweight Championship Cena versus Rollins match. What do you guys think? It's right up around the corner. Let's get this done.